And hello, everybody. We're going to go ahead and go live briefly for a Monday update. Just kind of want to talk about the market. Well into the summer market and just want to take a look at a microcosm of like what's happening from week to week and then what is happening with the market overall for the month of June, since we're through June. And just kind of give you guys, what's happening in its totality. So we're going to briefly take a look at that. I'm going to switch to my computer screen and we're going to dive right into it. Okay, so let me go in here to the MLS. Got it. Well, for whatever reason, we're having technical difficulties on that. It's not showing everything on the screen, which seems to be a bit of a challenge. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and talk you through this then. So what I'm doing is I'm going into the FMLS and I'm just going to take a look at the actives in the last 7 days. So how many properties have actually gone live on the market in the last 7 days? So 0 to 7 days active for Cherokee County is 72, which would mean there's 72 launched listings. In the same 7-day period, now mind you, there was a holiday week, holiday midweek holiday with the 4th of July on a Thursday. Some people had Friday off, some didn't. 24 went pending. So that is almost 3 times the amount went live than went pending. Remember, this is just 1 week at a time, and you can't base a market off of that. If I look at the closed units in that same week was 5. And that could be because that's a holiday week and people really didn't want to go anywhere. So let's go ahead and factor in the holiday week and go to 14 days. In the last 14 days, 97 closed. So a majority of the closings happened the week prior, not that week of. And as far as the pendings went in that same period of time, you end up with, looks like 97. Yeah, 97 closed in the last 14 days and 97 went pending. So that is a dead on match. That also indicates stuff is closing pretty quick. Now, mind you, if we were to go 14 days of what went active on the market to get a better look at that, we're at 151. So we still have more going live than what we have actually closing. Now, here's something we don't typically look at anymore, but let's take a look in the last 14 days of what expired, right? Because a percentage of these that go on the market want to just test the market. They want to say, I wonder what the market will do. So in the last 14 days, 21 properties expired. And let's go ahead and add withdrawn in there. So this would be manually withdrawn in the last 14 days as well. That goes up to 55. So you got about 55 properties where they either expired out and didn't sell because they were overpriced or something happened, or withdrawn where they changed their mind because they weren't get the activity they wanted or something of that nature. But let's go ahead and look. Today is going to be, what is today's date? Today's the 8th. So we're going to look at 38 days is what I'm going to do to give us June through today, kind of see what went active. We put 409 properties on the market on the FMLS in the last 38 days. So that would be from June 1st through now. Okay, so if I'm going to take that same 38 days in that same period of time for June, for pendings, it was 304. So we went from 409 to 304. So we're still up 100, right? Now let's see, based on the expired, because this is going to flush out for them, right? So we want to take the expired and the withdrawns because they're going to pull those out of the mix because we want to see if we have a growing inventory. You got 134 combined in that area. So that tells me if you take the ones that expired or were withdrawn in the same period of time, you would subtract 134 properties from the 409 that went live, which would put you well below 300, about 276-ish properties. And then if you were to take that and go, well, how many of those went under contract? 304. So we still have a shrinking market, right? Because 304 properties went pending, 134 withdrawn. So that's 438 properties, which is more than one active. And then if we add in the closed over the last 38 days that were out there, that's 356 that actually completed their cycle through, which is, just shy of what went on the market. So if you're to take this into a total account, what you would look at here is basically, I would argue that the inventory is remaining stable or shrinking during the summer months. The amount of stuff that's hitting the market is either selling, going under contract, closing, or being withdrawn off the market if they were just seeking it out. We're not getting this 90-day, 120-day market type statistics. So if I take the 356 that closed, and then I went in to kind of look at the average days on market from the reporting standpoint of those, that is actually too big of a report to generate, although I will try. Click all. Let's do a quick CMA and see if it generates. It's spinning right now as we speak. Okay, so coming back down in here, it did actually generate me a nice big fat report, and they're all over the map. But let's look at the averages. So average days on market were 34. The median, where you take out the ones that were on for like 256 days and slice those out of there, was 13. The minimum was 0, meaning stuff went on the market and immediately went pending. The ones that were on the market for the longest were huge $3 million properties that were, the highest was 597 days. But your average is 34 to between 13 and 34 days on market. So it's still a pretty aggressively moving market. So let me look at you for this part. I would say if you're on the fence on whether or not to put your property on the market, there's about 3 factors you're going to want to take into account. Factor number 1 is my house ready to go to market? If my house is ready to go to market, then I would go ahead and consider it. Factor number 2, how recently did you buy and what are you thinking about selling your property for? If you're going to be fair with the market price and not just reach for the stars on it, it might be something that you actually want to do. And factor number 3 is going to be the timing. When do you actually need to move by? Because that's also going to depend on how you look at factor 1 and 2, right? If you need to move now and your property has some deferred maintenance and you're willing to be flexible on price, then you can get this thing done. If your property has a bunch of deferred maintenance, you are inflexible on price, but you need to move quickly and you don't have time nor money to fix up some of that deferred maintenance on this, I would say it's worth a conversation. And this is where the expertise would come in. If you call us here at Ursuline Associates, we can come out, look at the property and say, listen, if you did nothing, here's where your price is going to be. If this doesn't line up with what you want to do and you don't have to sell, we would advise you to keep it and slowly fix it over time or see what the market will do as time goes on. If you are in a situation where this has got to happen now, then we're going to be honest with you about what we think we can get, give you the best strategy to get the most amount of money out of the property with the least amount of hassles. If you have the time to fix it up, then we can definitely walk you through what we would fix up and what we would not. Not everything you spend money on is going to be worthwhile. So that's the overall market update. If you're an investor thinking about investing in real estate, what I would encourage you to look at is cash flow models, because the market is fairly stable. If interest rates fall into the 5s, the market's going to go extremely hot again. If the market goes extremely hot, you'll get plenty of equity growth. But right now, if you're going to buy and have a long-term hold, what you need in there is, largely a positive cash flow to be able to say, I buy this house and I can rent it for X. That's a lot of the calls I field during the week, is looking for those situations, as well as the relocation people where they're having a job change or retirement, some type of life event. At any rate, that's it for Monday. We just wanted to do a Monday market update. We're still seeing stuff move. The data points we're showing you is exactly what we're seeing. The stuff that is the best on the market and priced aggressively is the stuff we move in, under 14 days. Anything else that's pushing the price on the market because it was a different strategy that the seller chose is sitting for about that 14 to 30-day mark and still moving along. So we hope that this information is helpful to you. Tracking the market is crucial. It's something you're going to want to pay attention to if you have an interest in either capitalizing or moving money. If you're in a situation where it's a move up situation, things you want to consider. is, speak to your tax professional and see if you've lived in this house for 2 out of the last 5 years as a primary residence and you haven't sold another one, then whatever equity you gained, you can likely move tax-free under today's current rules. If this is an investment property, think about a 1031 exchange. If you find a better investment property that has more cash flow, then we can work with you on models to be able to move that to a better property and defer those taxes. Basically, just kind of trade up where you're going to get a better ROI. If you want to hold them and grow the whole package overall, that's an option as well. Again, I hope you find this information helpful. If you need anything, feel free to reach out. My number is 770-241-0373. I appreciate you guys. Talk to you soon.